Rudy Giuliani is joining us. He is out of the country. He's live from Rome, Italy, on behalf of the NCRI and special guest publicity. We'll get into what he's doing over there. Well, what are you doing over there in Rome?
Well, this is an organization called the NCRI, PMOI, MEK, different countries. Basically, it's a very, very large group of Iranian dissidents who have been in existence for over 40 years. They have had somewhere around 100,000 of their members sacrificed, in other words, killed by the Ayatollah. And they are, the best way to describe them to you is they were the ones who discovered that Iran was enriching uranium originally at Natanz Mountain in 22. And then again at Fordo in 25. They are alleged to have worked very closely with the Mossad to this day in finding the scientists who were responsible for this. And a lot of the attack that was done by the Israelis, very surprisingly, involved a tremendous infiltration of Iran. Some of the explosions that took place were done not from Israel, but inside Iran.
Oh, really?
Particularly the precision explosions. Remember when you would look at a building and you'd see one big window blown out by a missile, it looked like, but only one building of a multi-complex apartment building. That was the residence of a major nuclear scientist that had been fingered by the Mossad. And they aimed directly at that window from about a block away. So you're saying to yourself,
like a shoulder,
these people get in,
like a shoulder fired missile,
or maybe with, it would be with a shoulder rifle would be the most precise way to do it. But there'd be several other ways, some of which they haven't even disclosed to me. But they were doing it from a very close proximity. They did a lot of that, and that's why you didn't see many Iranian civilians dead. The Iranians just, crazy bombed Israel, and they hit civilian targets. They never hit a military target. Israel hit military targets and then went for specific people, not just the scientists. That guy could have been one of the Ayatollah's chief advisors on something.
What do you think?
What they wanted to do?
Yeah. Do you think
what they wanted to do was to take out his infrastructure?
Right. Do you think there's going to be regime change in Iran?
No doubt about it. It has to be. We are fooling ourselves if we think we can get peace in the Middle East, so long as this is the Islamic Republic of Iran with the goal of capturing the entire Middle East. It doesn't even matter if the Ayatollah is gone and we get a new Ayatollah. This is the second Ayatollah. He's just as bad as the first one. The government is dedicated to becoming an Islamic republic. And they begin with the Middle East. Eventually, they want to swallow us up. And Israel is their biggest obstacle because Israel is the biggest military power in the Middle East, bigger than them.
It seems to me that all these people understand is a punch in the face. I don't see the negotiation part never seems to work with these people. And I guess if they want you dead and that's their end game, then negotiation is sort of futile. It's just about bunker busters now and regime change, right?
Yeah, I've thought that for some time, Adam.
Yeah,
this isn't new to me. I've been for regime change for a decade. It seems to me that negotiations are wonderful. I think they're great and they can work with most people. I even think negotiations with Xi Jinping and possibly even Putin could work. But this guy is a madman. We've negotiated with him before, and he just lies.
Well,
how many times does he make a fool out of it?
Negotiation to me is like marriage counseling, in that if both parties would like to have a good marriage, then we can go to counseling. But if one guy is stepping out with the secretary and has no intention of making this thing work, then what are you doing in counseling?
Yeah, you need What I describe it as, you need something in the middle where they can come together. Here, they're mutually exclusive, which is why for 30 or 40 years, this whole two-state solution has been a mirage.
Yes.
You can't have a two-state solution with a state that wants to destroy you.
Right.
And until you get them to the position where they're not teaching their children starting at 2 years old, death to Israel, death to America. They're not teaching them at 5 how to do that. And then, some 50% of them go into Hamas and the other 50% sit back and support it.
Right.
Maybe you get 10% that don't. You're not going to have the Israelis, who are obviously a very, very tough army, tougher maybe than any, but maybe us and one or two others. They're not going to accept a neighbor who is dedicated to killing them. Every day they chant and pray to kill Israel and try to.
Right. All right. Other subjects. It's all in the news with the Obama and the deep state and Brenner and Clapper and all those guys. And it's a kind of an interesting inflection point. Those of us who've been sort of following this for a number of years, it's no surprise. Steele dossier, Hillary Clinton, all that kind of stuff. The Obama involvement is probably a little eye-raising for a lot of us, not because we didn't think he was behind it, just because he's a smooth operator who doesn't leave fingerprints, and somehow he forgot to put his gloves on a couple of pieces of paper. So that's what it's kind of looking like. Now, of course, the Democrats are doing the always nothing to see here. This is lawfare and all that. And I want to show you a clip from Colbert last night, which is Elisa Slotnick was on. Is she a representative or a congressperson? But anyway, she used to be in the CIA or the FBI. And they do this thing they do all the time where they go, tell us, is there a deep state? And they go, most of the men and women in the FBI are just hardworking folks. And it's like, yeah, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a few people at the top, but this is the answer. This is the campaign. What is her, I'm sorry, give me her title, but we'll play it. Go ahead. Mr. Giuliani, your thoughts.
Well, first of all, she's probably one of the reasons why the CIA and the FBI is in the shape that it's in. Of course, most of them are not dishonest, but all you need are a few at the top. How about when they were flying hundreds of millions of dollars in cash over to the Ayatollah, who then used half of it to kill Americans? Was that a deep state? And Obama's still walking around? I mean, he was paying to get us killed. Let me change the Ayatollah to bin Laden. Suppose you were giving that money to bin Laden. You'd be guilty of treason. He did that. Obama did that for 2 years before he got caught in the deep of night. Like the lady, oh, you think people in the deep of night? Yes, sweetheart, in the deep of night, they're doing it. And obviously you as an agent never caught it, which is why you should find something else to do, like read books or something.
Yeah, so they do this thing all the time where they go, oh, most of women and men are hardworking, God-fearing ex-military. And it's like, of course, nobody said. And by the way, when anyone talks about it, they always carve out that group. They go, most of the rank and file are good, hardworking, God-fearing Americans. Now, that being said, you got Comey and McCabe and Brennan, guys like that at the top that are trying to affect an election. I don't know how much more evidence they need than these guys were trying to affect the outcome of an election. Yes.
When I hear those names, I think of people who wanted to destroy me. They're the 51 spies who lied, who said that I got the hard drive and the computer from the Russians.
Right.
And for 17 months, that was the established truth, and it was a complete lie, and they knew it. They knew it because they had sourced it correctly 10 months earlier. So they knew they were lying.
Yes.
And everyone knew they were lying because they couldn't give a single indication of how it was Russian. But everybody wanted to believe them.
Right.
And that was a malicious thing to do. And during the debate, Biden accused President Trump and me personally of being Russian agents.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's sick. That's sick behavior.
The good news is about being accused Biden during the debate is I don't think he was able to say your name. So
he got it wrong. You're right.
Yeah, he was like
Rudy
Giuliani. That's good.
And your pal Rudy Giuliano.
Right.
You're right, Adam.
So I got good memory for certain things. Now, so let's just walk through it. The Hunter Biden laptop was real cut and dry. They had possession of the laptop 10 months before the debate. So that notion that they couldn't authenticate something that they had possession of is insane, correct?
Yes. They authenticated it, I believe, in December of 2019 or January of 2020. That's almost a year before the election. That's 10 months before we ever got possession of it.
Okay, so
we didn't know it was authentic. They did. I had to go authenticate it for 10 days. I used 5 FBI agents. I used other people. Look, this was my profession. By the way, I did it a hell of a lot better than they did. But.
Well, how did you get possession of it?
John Mac Davis gave it to me. John Mac Davis was the repairman in Delaware that Hunter Biden, either in a drug-induced state or alcohol-induced state, brought it in. John Mac Davis said he could fix it, but he would have to send it back to, I guess, Mac to get some parts and to come back in 2 weeks. He fixed a computer, another one gave it to him, and he told him another computer was wasted. You should just throw it away. He gave him a receipt. The receipt says, a contract, if you don't come back and take it in 90 days, it becomes the possession of the merchant. He didn't come back in 90 days. It became his possession. When he started to hear this stuff on television about, particularly about Hunter not talking to his father and his father not talking to Hunter about any of his foreign business, it just didn't ring true to him that these guys would be together for 30 years, go on airplanes to China, and they wouldn't talk about his business. So it was now his property. 90 days had passed by. Maybe it was 120 days into it. He went and listened. And the first thing, luckily, he gets is Joe talking about foreign business.
Really?
Then he finds all kinds of pictures with foreigners. He's got a direction from the number 2 guy at Burisma, which is the company that gave him a $20 million bribe, saying, I had a great meeting with your father. He worked out our problems for us. Within 2 days, he did what the FBI still hasn't done, which is nail him nor did Comer or any of the other people. Do you know the hard drive has an email from Hunter to his psychiatrist in 2019 saying, my father is demented.
Really?
Why did that never come out? Well, I don't know what our people would do in Congress with it. Like these things would slam him in the face, and I guess they go unconscious. Or they kept saying, is there any proof that Joe Biden got any money? Yeah. You know where the proof comes from? It's in writing from Hunter Biden, who says, I gave half of my income for 30 years to my father, which that amounts to about $30 million.
Yeah. And
I never had evidence that good in the case I prosecuted. Never.
And 10% for the big guy.
10% was an extra. 10% was the extra that others got to know about. They up until then, for 30 years, they kept it to themselves. And Joe got 50%. And the way Hunter got it to him is to pay all the bills, which you can also corroborate to a very large extent. The point that I'm trying to make is even the Republicans are hiding some of the most incriminating stuff on the hard drive. And for the life of me, I can't figure out why. Like, you don't have to have this big debate about whether they knew he was demented. 2019, they said they knew he was demented. You don't have a debate about whether Joe got money. The prime co-conspirator admits it. It's called an admission. Comes in evidence like that in a court. And a judge tells the jury it's powerful evidence. It's just tragic.
Well, the news, obviously the mainstream media worked overtime to try to kill the story. And they really, one of them couldn't have done it without the other. First, it took the politicians, but the politicians couldn't have pulled it off, meaning the Democrats, without the complicit media really circling all the wagons and going into full court press. Like they really went at it hard. So one hand washed the other. And I suppose a lot of a lot of politicians sort of lick their finger and put it in the air and say, look, do I really want a hit piece on me from the New York Times? And do I really want a hit piece on me? And I want all this flack. I'm just going to lay low. I don't want to stick my neck out. It was a lot of it took place during COVID. I mean, the same mentality. Do you really want to stick your head out and start talking about if masks are effective and get attacked by everybody, or you just want to put the mask on and shut up? That's basically what we're dealing with.
That gives you the kind of sense of who we have in politics.
Right.
And how courageous they are and how little they love their country. Because God forbid they're going to take a political hit, but do something good for their country. I mean, even before you get to the possible corruption with the miscounting of the votes and the machines and whatever, they fixed the election when they squashed the hard drive. I mean, that's information that was startling. We never had any information like that in a campaign before. And it was a complete shutout. If you want to talk about a deep state, that's your deep state. It includes the media and the crooked politicians like Brennan and Clapper and I call him James Cardinal Comey and all of these phonies.
Yeah. Do you think, what do you think the exposure is for a lot of those guys, including Obama? And I know, it's a subject well, and there's, there's pardons, but then there's the auto pen and who was in control of the auto pen, and can we unpardon somebody if the pardon was given by the auto pen and Joe Biden wasn't in the position mentally to basically okay it or not?
But on the Obama thing, he does get the benefit of the immunity decision that benefits Trump. The only difference is his actions continued. I'm talking about Obama after he was president.
Right.
A lot of the damage done to Trump, the worst damage was done when Trump was president.
Right.
Like the phony impeachment based upon false testimony, which we know was false, paid for by the Democratic Party.
Right.
Now,
so let's just walk it back for a second. Obama is in office and he's on his way out of office. And so there's two layers to this. One is let's use this to not get Trump elected. But if he is elected, let's taint his presidency and get him mired in this scandal to make him as ineffective as humanly possible. And Obama, on his way out, is the one who got the original report on whether Russia had tampered with the election. It didn't seem like there was enough meat on the bone for him, so he said, send it back, make me another one that looks more like Russia got involved and wanted to help Trump, and then I'll push that out into the media, and then we can mire his presidency in scandal. And what you're saying is Obama wasn't president for the second part of that, and how does that work?
Well, he wasn't president and still involved in it.
Right.
You know who described it best? Peter Strzok. Sometime around September, October 2020, before the election takes place, they finish their preliminary investigation. And he says to his girlfriend on the phone, there's no there.
Right.
And she says something like, that crooked SOB is going to become president. And Strzok said, don't worry, we have an insurance policy. This gives us an insurance policy.
Right.
What that meant was they're gonna step back for a little bit. They're gonna dress it up. You even have meetings in the White House doing that. And then they're gonna resurface it once he becomes president as an impeachment.
Right.
So what was the impeachment about? Collusion with the Russians. Like the hard drive, they knew it wasn't true. They had already investigated it twice and come to the conclusion there was no substance to it. Obama knew it wasn't true. Brennan knew it wasn't true. Comey knew it wasn't true. Hillary paid for it. She knew it wasn't true. And they all participated in it. So I don't see how he gets presidential immunity for the things he does afterward to carry the conspiracy forward. That would be a heck of a ruling by the Supreme Court. It would mean a president could commit crimes for the rest of his life.
Well,
you get out of the White House and do whatever you want.
Well, they were just claiming that with Trump, like he was going to, start serial killing.
However you interpret their decision, no matter how broad you make it, and to encompass Obama, you'd have to make it even broader than Trump's. But let's say they do that. They did not talk about immunity after being president. In fact, they may have. I got to go back and look at it and say you don't have it after you're president.
Yeah, so what I would say to Lisa Slotnick, Democrat, Michigan, newly elected from Michigan, who goes on Colbert, no, when Strzok and Comey and all these people are having these late night conversations about insurance policies going forward, if we lose, by the way, it's not your election to win or lose. You're not supposed to be biased here. We're not talking about the guy in the Oregon field office who's running down some Antifa lead. We're not talking about him. We're talking about a handful of people. And by the way, nobody ever does that when they're talking about factories and big corporations. No one ever talks about the guys on the line, on the assembly line, down on the floor. They're talking about the corrupt guys in the corner office. Those are the guys.
100%.
Yes. So to say you don't understand that means you're being intellectually dishonest.
100%. On purpose. Because it's almost like that thing about, once you lie, you have to continue to lie to cover up your lie.
Right.
Well, I think this thing is part of a whole package, which is keep Trump out. And if he gets in, throw him out and don't let him back. It's one entire book. And it has about 7 or 8 chapters, of which Russian collusion was one. Hiding the hard drive is another one. January 6th being exaggerated into being worse than September 11 is another one.
Right.
How about taking them off the ballot because of an insurrection, which was insane? How about the 4 criminal cases against one person in 1 year? I don't think one person has ever been indicted 4 times in 1 year. And none of them amount to anything. They all amount to BS. And what about shooting at him? That's the one that really gets me. I have a hard time believing they did everything they could do.
Right.
But there's no involvement either with Iran or somebody else. Too many people had a motive to kill him.
An assassination attempt. Yeah.
I warned him a year before. Bernie Kerik, who's now passed on, warned the president that you got to be really careful because these people are morally bankrupt. And Bernie actually asked me, because I was resistant. He said, do you think they could kill him? I said, I don't know. He said, haven't they done everything else?
Yeah.
Isn't it morally equivalent of I said, yep. Donna Bernie, you're right.
Well, who are we talking about and what do they have to lose? Like, all right, they say he's Hitlerian and we're going to lose our democracy, but they're lying and they don't believe it. But yet, they'll go to lengths that may involve jail time to keep him out. So what are they protecting? Is it just a status quo, sort of all the non-governmental agencies where the money just gets lost and it gets funneled everywhere? Is it like a purely financial thing?
They're protecting, first of all, the real possibility they'll go to jail for the rest of their lives. I mean, these are people who know they're committing crimes. These are not insane people, except maybe Biden, I guess. But they know they're committing a crime. They know the crime they're committing. So they know that if the country ever straightened out and became fair again, they'd go to jail for very, very long periods of time.
But
they're making a lot of money.
They're
making a lot of money, Adam.
I get it, but they committed the crime in the first place. Like, why commit the crime in the first place?
Well, why commit to keep them out? Because they don't want to give up. They don't want to give up this great gig they have. And that's what you really mean by the deep state. The deep state is all the bribe money that goes into a defense contract, all the kickbacks, all the money that the lobbyists are making and throwing around. The fact that everybody seems to go into Congress and the Senate goes in poor and comes out a multimillionaire.
Right.
One guy just left now and he's worth 120 million. The Pelosi's are probably worth more than Gates from insider trading. I mean, this is not, there are a couple of them that are totally straight. But if they go in there and they get the bug, they become like organized criminals. It's a big money.
Right. So
big money. How about a congressman representing a poor black district? For 25 years, the black district gets no money and the congressman leaves worth 25 million.
Right.
This guy stole from his own people. He took money from his own people.
Well, I guess whether it's that or, California spending $24 billion on homelessness, nothing ever comes out the other end. And it's very telling. So I guess it's all just money. I guess that's how we're doing this.
It's money and power. It's money, and it's the psychological thing that happens with power and influence and importance.
Right.
A lot of these people are really extremely insecure people. But in any event, I have to go back to my Iranian duties. They get completely decimated by the same people that go after Trump, because there's some kind of a sick relationship between certain portions of the Democratic Party and the Ayatollah. How can it be that Obama sent him hundreds of millions in cash? Why would an American president send the head of a country that's the biggest sponsor of terrorism in the world money in cash? And at the time, they were killing Americans with Soleimani, who eventually Trump got rid of. The American president is telling everybody to keep it secret, do it in the middle of the night, but send the biggest sponsor of terrorism in the world $100 million.
Like literally
do it in cash.
Pallets of cash.
A fortune.
Yeah.
I would say if you do an analysis of Iran, the biggest contributor to the reign of terror, to the Islamic Republic of Iran, is the United States of America. Nobody's giving them that kind of money. And then when Biden would loosen up the money that was confiscated, that's all money that was stolen from the Iranian people by the Shah. That's money. He shouldn't be giving that money to a terrorist. It's the same thing, just not as brazen. Now he gave him about 100. He gave him about 100 billion. 100 billion.
Well, how much?
That's money that was taken from the crooked Shah, who was a master thief. Maybe he wasn't as bad as they were, but he killed his share of people, and he stole a fortune.
How much of this is anti-Semitism versus, here the left is very, if you're brown, you're oppressed, and somehow if you're successful and your neighbor isn't, it must be because you're suppressing your neighbor. That's the basic thought. So you got the nice house on the block. That's Israel. You work hard. You're religious, and you focus on education and family. Your neighbor is not flourishing, and according to the Democrats here, the one with the nice house who works hard must be punished, and something must be taken away from them and given to the neighbor.
That's a very, very worthy premise, and I do think that the left wing has done a very, very good job of making Israel the oppressor.
Right.
And then all the people that hate us and want to kill us, the oppressed, because it makes no sense. If you look at the last 15 years, a lot of people complain who are anti-Semitic, or maybe not even, we give too much money to Israel. We gave Iran 50 times more than we gave Israel. We gave Ukraine 30 times more than we give Israel. And Israel is our best ally. Who the heck ever did for us what Israel just did? Israel basically cleaned out all the bushes so we could just go hit Iran straight on. We could not have been as successful as we were if they had spent a year just whacking the hell out of them, getting rid of their air force, getting rid of their air defenses. We sent, a third of an air force over Iran, and they didn't even shoot back at us. It's because they couldn't. And we weren't bombing them before Israel was. So this is a real partner. This is a army you want to go to war with, because they're going to be value added. They're not going to be like the French, who sometimes say they're going to fight and sometimes they don't fight.
What's your take on Putin? See, the notion that Putin wanted Trump to be the president is already flawed to me. When you take a look at the whole story with Putin's rooting for Trump. Why would he root for Trump? He would want someone sort of docile, dumb, and inert like Kamala Harris or Hillary Clinton, because what they want is status quo. All the bad people want to just keep doing business. They don't want to be, whether you're dealing drugs and you're, a cartel at the border, or whether you're doing whatever you're doing in your rogue nation, you want to be left alone. You're essentially, you're in a prison. There's a warden who will never leave his office, and you can keep making pruno in your toilet, and you'll never be interrupted, and dealing drugs and everything else, that'll be fine. Or you can get a new warden who's law and order, and that guy's going to be walking the halls, and you don't want that guy. So the idea that they're trying to get Trump elected is flawed. They wanted, with Biden, with Kamala Harris, with Hillary Clinton, it's business as usual. Biden's not going to get involved with any of this stuff.
Yeah, well, Biden was the best thing that ever happened to Putin. I don't think he even realized how great it would be when Biden first came in. But then after he watched him a little, I mean, if you and I could see that the guy was demented, and if in fact the hard drive has indications of it, for example, Hunter telling his psychiatrist in 2019, my father's demented, he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. You don't think the Russians picked that up?
Right.
I mean, they wouldn't be a worthy adversary if they did. Right. They knew exactly how sick he was. They were just licking their lips, waiting for him to come in. And I think that's what Secretary Gabbard has been able to pull out. That he may have been making certain indications that he supported Trump, but he was basically 100% supporting Hillary and Biden. Like he had on September 18th and 19th of 2016, Putin had a very big choice to make. He had a dossier about this big, a real one from his intelligence service. And it was, Hillary Clinton is very sick and she's taking a lot of very, very powerful mind-altering drugs. He knew if he released that, he could kill her candidacy. He held it back, never put it out.
Right.
We have it now.
Right.
But it was sitting there. That was produced by Russian intelligence, hacking the Democratic National Committee.
He never said the Steele dossier was a fake either.
He knew it.
Yeah, but he never said anything.
He knew that too.
Right. That's the point.
Of course, he could have quashed the whole thing in a second. You know, the other thing he could have done, he could have put out tapes that would have proved the Hunter Biden, Joe Biden bribes in Ukraine. He had all those tapes. He has tapes of conversations. I'll even give you the date, approximate. In February of 2020, there are 4 conversations that go on for about an hour each between Biden and the president of the Ukraine, Poroshenko. Some of those conversations have leaked, and they involve Biden approving the new prosecutor, giving him advice on how the case should be handled. Putin has the entire tape. He could have put that out in a second. It would have absolutely destroyed Biden. Yeah, and same thing with Zelensky. Zelensky's got all those tapes. Every time he wanted money from Joe, he'd say, "Joe, Giuliani didn't put out all the pictures. There are a lot more, baby."
Really?
Yeah. Well, Zelensky's got everything on Biden. Everything.
The FBI. Yeah. So anyway, just to distill it down, not only was Trump not Putin's puppet or cat's paw, Putin would have much rather had Kamala or Biden or Hillary Clinton because he could continue doing his business as usual.
Yeah. Isn't the best answer to that? Putin invaded 3 times under the last 4 presidents. Bush, Obama, Biden. Who does he skip? Trump.
Right.
Got to mean he's scared of him. Now he's in a different position because he's already got what he wanted. But I think he's making a big mistake. And I think he's going to, ultimately, I think Putin's going to cave.
So
it take a little change of strategy, but I think he'll cave.
The FBI raided your home or your office?
Both.
Both. And
my law office.
Your law
office.
And
which is unthinkable.
Right. And then they were looking for what? And then didn't you offer them up the Hunter Biden laptop material and they didn't take it?
So the subpoena said specifically they should take every piece of electronic equipment in my apartment. They really wanted my cell phones and emails and all that. So I had a lot of electronic equipment, including from friends of mine. I was doing a lot of my radio show home because it was COVID. So a lot of equipment. We lined it all up on my dining room table because I helped them. We lined it all up on my dining room table, and I'm identifying it. That's my computer. That's my computer. That's my ex-wife's computer. That's my friend's computer. We get to the end, and I had reorganized it so the two hard drives were at the end. We get to the end. I said, you know something? Now you guys are going to get something big. This is going to make your careers. This is the first incriminating thing you're going to walk out with, but it's powerful. They're looking at me like, what the hell is it?
What's the date, by the way, this happened?
This is about 2022 or 2021 springtime. So I say to them, I can give you either the Hunter Biden hard drive without the child pornography, or I'll give you the one with the child pornography. If you want both, you can have both. Just let me make a copy. So he said, no. We're not authorized to take that. I said, you're authorized to take electronics. That's electronic.
Right.
Why aren't you taking it? Well, we don't want it.
So they never took it.
A year and a half later, Adam, they had to write a letter to the grand jury saying that after investigating all that they took from my law office, from me, and 20 years of my business life, which they ruined, they had no probable cause that I committed a crime. So how the hell did they have probable cause to raid my apartment? What did they lose it?
Who put them?
They lost it driving to the head.
Who put them up to that? And also, can you give me the date that happened again? I didn't quite follow. 2021.
I'll get you the exact date. I can't remember the exact date.
Well,
but,
no,
it was in the spring of 2021.
The spring of 20 or 21. Okay.
2021.
Oh, I'm sorry. And, 2021. That's right. That's the brain
Biden.
part. Yeah. 21. All right. The spring of 21. I got it now. Sorry.
And I mean, Biden actually wrote a letter a year before to the press telling them by name not to put me on. Remember, I was the one who first revealed his criminality way back in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the Ukraine. I got all the evidence. I had the witnesses. So he had me in mind. I revealed his criminality, and now I'm all of a sudden the guy that shows up with a hard drive. He wanted me shut up.
Right.
Destroyed and shut up. But we'll do that another time. I've got to run back and finish my speech.
Oh, okay.
It was a real pleasure talking to you.
It was good talking to you, Mr. Giuliani. I'll give you a plug.
We'll do it again. Rudy.
End of the show.
Rudy.
Yes, Rudy. We'll do it again because we've got so much more to talk about. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Adam. Great interview.
Thank you.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Chase Man, getting back to the statutory rape rap. One of your least favorite bands, the Beastie Boys. If I play guitar, beat Jimmy Page. The girlies I like are underage.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
It's a weird thing to sing about and to like underscore, like in life. Like if you just went like, Well, and so the excuse is like, well, I know it's illegal and I know it's a horrible scourge. I would never do it, but I just sing about it and be like, well, what if I just did that with racism or herpes or something like that? Like, I'll just take a bad thing like 9/11 or something. And I'm not for it. I don't condone it, but I'll just sing about it all the time. It's kind of a weird conceit and glorify it, you know?
9/11 was pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet. And then when people cornered me, I'd go, oh, no. I lost many friends during 9/11. Like, you're misconstruing
But it's catchy.
9/11 is pretty sweet. You missed that one. You miss I have no black friends, but that's not me saying I have no black friends. That's me singing about it. It's weird. All right.
The Chinese are feared.
Also, the other thing, too, is a dude, 18, you know, like at 18, like if you treated a woman like an avocado. Okay. Are you listening?
I'm listening.
I never thought about this. But when you get an avocado, a new avocado can be hard. It's not ready.
Not ready.
It's not ready yet. That's
prepubescent.
Right. That's a young woman. Not right. No good to me. Yeah, I like avocados. Not this one. Hard. No good. Too soon. Right. But then you leave them in a paper bag too long out on the counter.
Oh.
Now it start getting brown. Old.
Retirement home.
That's old. No good. No use to me. That's no use to me. Right. There's a sweet spot with the avocado. Right. But that sweet spot isn't 15. That sweet spot is like 19, man. Like, that's the best avocado age right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I want it to be a little bit hard and a little bit chewy? You know what I'm saying? Now, I get it. You don't want it to be brown avocado in the nursing home, but you don't want hard avocado with no pubes. Or, you know what I'm saying? You want sweet spot guacamole avocado, and that ain't 15. It's 19. So why do you even want that? You know, like, why you under like
Nobody
you're
wants
still in school?
Freshman avocados.
No freshman avocado. You want good guac potential. So my whole thing is like, if somebody ever said to me, no matter how old I was, well, would you like to lay down with it? Forget about legalities. You want a 15-year-old girl? You want a 19-year-old girl? I'll go, look, give me the 19. It's not like they start falling apart at 17 and a half or something. 20. I don't know who's the best looking person in the world. I mean, what? I don't know who's the hot chick now.
Zendaya.
All right. I don't know what's Zendaya. 28. Fine. It's not. She's no brown avocado.
She's a squishy avocado.
Yeah, Sydney Sweeney. All right.
Yeah,
How old is
Sydney Sweeney's getting on in age, but you know she's not ready to toss.
She's
out
not
of
a
that paper
brown
bag.
avocado. Yeah, I'm just saying. Why do we even have to go back to high school? You can't. Who doesn't want a chick who's like in
I just
college?
thought all of those songs are just trying to be edgy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
get people talking. Oh, did you hear what they said? You know, high school is traditionally a time where we kind of romanticize it. So
Sydney Sweeney's 27. Did you need to have her at 15 and a half, or could you take this version of her? I'd be all right with this version of her. Her, you know, she was engaged to until like a few months ago.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah,
somebody murdered her fiance.
They broke it off. But how many? That guy.
Yeah.
You know, there's two kinds of masturbation a guy can engage in. There's a front windshield type of masturbation, and then there's a rear view masturbation. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, don't I ever?
I tend to like I'm like a front windshield kind of masturbator, but occasionally I'll take a peek up into the.
You know, you want to look back in the window. Yeah,
you want to take a look in that rear view to see if anyone's tailgating you. I'm just saying he's got to spend a lot of time in that rear view mirror.
Oh yeah.
A lot of
right,
time.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't know. Type of dude that pulls Sydney Sweeney probably ain't hurting for ladies in the other arena. You know what I'm saying? He's out. He's a man about town right now.
Well, you know, I watched my fair share of TMZ, and he didn't look like anything too special, but the way women work, once they find out you were with someone who was hot, then you can be with as many hot
I can
as
attest
you
to
will.
that.
Yeah, it's a Pete Holmes kind of situation.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Okay, let me ask you about this.
All right.
Let's see. Okay. I did something yesterday, a couple days ago, actually. I realized sometimes I stop and I think about stuff that, like my dad or my family, my parents would never do. And in 100 million, not years, lifetimes, 100 million lifetimes, my dad would never do this, which is, I heard about this app. There's an app for everything now where they buy reservations at fancy restaurant tables and they sell them to you, And I thought, how's that? My girlfriend was talking to me about it. I said, well, how's that work? Because, it's got to be more on a Saturday night. It's got to be more for 4 people than 2 people. It's got to be more at Nobu than it is at Arby's, I said, well, let's see how this thing works. I said, the Nobu is up the street. Never get a reservation there. And what would it be if we said Wednesday night, 8 o'clock? Could you get a table with this app? How does it work? How much is it? And I think she said you make a bid, and they either accept it or they don't. It's one more way to fucking take money
Little
away
blind
from
bid then. All right.
So I think the bid was $75. It's basically like saying you want to pay $75 to eat at Nobu.
Yeah.
And then you can pay them. But that's basically it. Otherwise, you got to wait 6 months or whatever it is. So I said, yeah, all right, try it out. So sure enough, we got a reservation at Nobu. Now, my dad would never go to Nobu, but he would never pay
$75 for the privilege.
By the way, $75, he would have said to me, we can go to the Sizzler 4.5 times for that fucking money, which would expand about 10 years. So then I go in there, and there's a couple, which looks like a mom. It looks like a little sugar baby dude and his old lady. I mean, there seemed to be like a 40-year distance in time, but I don't know if they were living together, what it is, but they were inside of Nobu, and they both had a dog inside and a long fur dog, and they're both just sitting there. Now, I don't know where you come down on dogs, and I don't want any dogs in any eating establishments whatsoever. But if you're running a falafel place, like, all right, maybe. Sushi is weird because sushi is very open-faced and raw. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like sushi's a lot of any dander is going right to that sushi.
I think I'm on the same side as you because of that open situation where a dog fur can just float right up, right on top of your sashimi.
They were both medium-sized, very long-haired dogs, and they're both. And first off, these people go to Nobu with their dogs. And they don't acknowledge the dogs the whole fucking time.
That's a rich guy privilege thing, too, though.
Oh,
There's certain people just bring their dog wherever they go because, you know what I mean? No one tells them no.
First off, why do you even want to burden yourself with the care of your dog when you're at Nobu? Like, wouldn't you just say to whoever, put the fucking dogs in the back and shut the door? I want to eat.
No, but dog people are psycho. Like, they really love it's not a burden at all to them. They're
right.
like, they
what about the people in the next table who don't want your dog with what about
they
those
don't
people?
exist. If you're a dog psycho, you don't even see any other humans. You just keep your nose lodged firmly up your dog's butt.
How about a little enforcement? I mean, look,
I'm with a lot of get your fucking dog out of here. Like, I'll just say it.
You know where Nobu is? It's right against the beach.
Hoity-toity.
It's illegal to bring your dog on the beach, but you can bring your dog in and sit amongst people eating sushi.
And retain your A rating.
Oh, God. I hate them. I hate them.
I love dogs, but man, there is a damn dividing line, bro. Nice restaurant, hoity-toity.
What if there's people who are allergic to dogs? I mean, look, they're fucking nuts and they're narcissists and they're narsa nuts. Okay. If you manage Nobu, can you just go, sorry, policy, no dog? You just do that. And by the way, let's just say you lose these two crackpots. There's a line around the block to hit that place every night.
I think, but this customer service type, appreciate, like, if you spend that much money on sushi, they want you going and raving to all the rest of your dog friends.
I don't know why. I thought about this the other day. And I don't know. It's weird when you have thoughts you've never had in your entire life, and then you have them.
All right.
It's kind of like once in a while. Well, I brought up RBs, and someone, RB, what does that mean? Oh, roast beef. And you go, oh, does everyone know that? How come I never do that?
Epiphany.
Yeah. This is a weird one I thought about. I kept passing the lifeguard tower. I'd say that, and I was making fun of it and talking about the ending hate at the beach and all that kind of stuff. And then I just started thinking the other day, I thought, lifeguard tower. It's a pretty liberal use of the word tower. It's 4 feet off the ground. First off, I don't know any tower you can just jump off of and onto the sand and be fine. A tower suggests like a power,
broken femur. Yeah.
Way the fuck up in the air, like dead. Tower. Towers, again, it's 4 feet above the sand. And you don't need a ladder. You can just walk up a piece of plywood and be at the top of the tower. I don't feel like it's a gardener shed just made out of plywood. It really embodies no tower characteristics. It's like when they talk about the whatever tower in Dubai, 500 stories with a pool on the top. This is not that.
Yeah.
It has none of the qualities of a tower.
It's a glorified outhouse.
It's a raised outhouse.
Yeah.
It's like if a Sears gardening shed and an outhouse had a tall child, it would be a lifeguard tower. Yeah. And I don't like. I suggest we have to call it.
I think we don't have a name for it though, Ace. Like it's not quite a shed, and it's not quite a tower.
Lifeguard kiosk. That's what I like. It is not a tower. It's not. You don't even need stairs to get. What tower do you not need an elevator or stairs to get on? It's a ramp of plywood with pieces of 1x2 screwed to it, like every 14 inches, just so you get a little traction. There's nothing. There's nothing towery about those things at all.
No, man.
I work at lifeguard tower number 27. I think it's to help the self-esteem of the lifeguards
a bit. I mean, look, they're usually young guys who want to pump them up early, get them over the hump, get them into the workforce.
There was a TV movie starring Sam Elliott as a hot lifeguard.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It was called Lifeguard.
All right.
And he was like the tough, grizzled lifeguard. Of course, a young buck coming up. Like, we used to do movies like that. Like, you'd watch and go, man, this lifeguard, man, that's a pretty important position right there. Look at him. He's got his own tower. He's got tower. Hope he doesn't get hit by an airplane in that thing, man. Hope he's got lights on that thing. Lifeguard.
All right.
Is this Sam Elliott starring this?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's Sam Elliott, and I don't know who plays the younger. Maybe it's God, what's his name? Maybe it was Who's in the movie, but it was a TV movie, Lifeguard. For Lifeguard. They better not call it a tower. All right. Thanks for the help. All right. That's a real movie. That was a real movie.
Unbelievable.
Well, and by the way,
I love it, man.
No VCRs, no laser discs, no streaming platforms, no nothing. At the Carolla house, we didn't have anything. We had 3 stations, and we didn't have air conditioning, and there was no porn. So what movie you want to see on Saturday, man? We're
Lifeguard.
Going they got air conditioning and titties, and that's
Slap
it.
5 on it.
All right, what do you got?
By the way, real quick, lifeguard tower. The definition of a tower is just a structure that is higher than it is wide.
No, what the hell?
All right, so every woman is a tower.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm sorry. I know that's the technical, but now I don't even know if those things are taller than they're wide. But now, considering we've redefined tower. All right. Anyway, transmitting tower and a radio station.
Yeah.
All right.
The latest is that wife blasted for making husbands lunches and then charging them for them. She's putting her money in her pocket instead. Yeah, check this TikTok out.
I charge my partner £10.
Who are all these bitches? How come I never met one?
She
of
charged them £10 a day. It's $13.52 in American.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I don't. I look. I mean, it kind of depends. As long as the money is kind of circulating within the walls of the home, that's a good thing. When you go outside, like to Nobu, then it gets outside of your house, then yeah.
Well, interestingly, like it has 200,000 views, and interesting enough, like a lot of ladies are saying you wouldn't charge them $10 if you loved them.
Well, I know. I mean, I don't know what their situation is. Here's my thing. Everybody needs to contribute, and sometimes you can't contribute to the extent that the other person contributes because the other person makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
And my thing has never been, I don't need my dollars matched dollar for dollar. I was always looking for between 2 and 7 cents return on my dollar. But I used to get 0 return on my dollar, and I didn't like that. I was willing to go 4 cents to the dollar, but not no cents to the dollar. Yeah. Meaning, I'll pay for the In-N-Out, but when you go to In-N-Out, do not forget to get this guy one, except for you do. So I always want a little bang,
little taste.
And I got my lesson early on. The only semi-functional relationship I ever saw in my family was my grandma and my grandfather. And my grandmother worked all day at the VA, and she hated every second of it. And she made sure that my grandfather knew it. You know what I mean? Like the alarm would go off in the morning. She'd go like, ugh. And she hated the guy she had to carpool with, and they'd have to sit in traffic on the 405 every day, and she fucking hated it. But my grandfather was then compelled to shop and clean and do everything. And if my grandfather had said to my grandmother, oh, hey, leave a check, I got to pay the maid, she would have went, fuck you. What do you mean pay the maid? What are you doing? I'm going to the VA every day. What do you do? Yeah. Well, I got a maid. We got the pool guy coming. We got the gardener guy coming. We got Grubhubs dropping off dinner tonight. And like, she would have went, I'm not paying for none of that shit. That's your fucking job because I'm gone all day. Now, the good news is you can watch Hollywood Squares and you can sit in your favorite chair, but we're not getting a maid. That's you. And I was always like, Grandpa Laszlo, he got it. He knew that was the deal. He had to have dinner waiting for her when she came home at night. And I was like, yeah. And then he would panic if it wasn't ready because she come through that door, man. Like, and if he didn't have that fucking, he was sweating, running around. Yes, darling. And he was fucking making that dinner. He was nervous if that shit wasn't ready. Like, if it needed to be in the oven for another 8 minutes. He was like, listen, have a seat, darling. So
That's sweet, man. He loved his lady.
He was scared. But either way, he knew he wasn't working or contributing, so he had to ease the burden. Why pay somebody to come clean the house? He'll clean the house. We'll save that money. And I get it. So my thing is, look, either you both work or the person that doesn't work has to be responsible for a bunch of other shit that's not traditionally paid for. And I don't know what she does and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah.
Well, next up, Pro Football Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe is out at ESPN just weeks after settling a sexual assault and battery lawsuit. Yeah, the breakup between the podcast star and media outlet comes less than 2 weeks after Sharpe reached a settlement with an anonymous woman who filed a lawsuit against famed tight end, accusing him of multiple instances of assault, sexual assault, battery, and sexual battery. Yeah.
Does
long time relationship he had with this lady, long and short of it, and at the end of it, she wanted some money, and she said he did some terrible stuff.
Well, everything in the bedroom sounds bad.
Oh yeah,
and some is bad, but it all kind of sounds bad. Especially if you're getting any kind of role playing or anything like that. There's always some text or something you're putting out there. There's always something. Now, I think we have to start basically, just because someone has millions of dollars doesn't mean you're a victim, and it doesn't mean you're entitled to it. Like, what if this was just a dude?
Yeah.
Like, let's just say, while Helen Gorog was at the VA all day, you came in and started a lurid affair with Laszlo Gorog.
Yeah.
And instead of him pushing the vacuum cleaner around that house, he was pushing your fat ass around that house, balls deep, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then you guys broke up. Would you sue Laszlo Gorog? And I think the answer would be no, because he didn't own anything and he didn't have any money. So he was an empty bag, not a deep pocket.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea that we have a system where it's like, you go, this guy was an employee of yours, right? And then he got drunk, and then he T-boned this guy, and he hurt this guy. And I go, all right, well, who are we going to sue? Mayhem, the guy who T-boned him? Well, he don't have any money. Well, what else? Well, what about Carolla? Well, he wasn't driving the car. Yeah, but he got money. It's like, is that a system? That's a weird system,
driving
right?
the Adam Carolla van down the street, got hammered and T-boned somebody.
Find somebody who's got money, and we'll hit them up. So you could. This bitch probably did this with 1,000 guys who didn't have money, but this guy's got money.
Yeah.
So
they were in a relationship for a 2-year period and started when she was 20.
I don't know why ESPN has to. First, I don't know when sports became so highbrow, so above the fray. You know what I mean? Like sports, like what are sports?
Well, they always tried to have an aura of like professionalism. You know, I always think that they had like standards and practices on every set. You know?
Yeah, I know, I get it. It's overcompensation for a sport. But first off, everything you do is attached to gambling. An inordinate percentage of people in the sports world are involved with spousal battery and unwed, kids and all the degenerate shit everyone's ever said. There's constant, in the past, claims of racism and everything. So you guys have to then put some sort of happy stink on it or whatever. It's just a bunch of drunken guys who like watching people run into each other and betting on it. And that's fine. But you don't have to pretend like you're holier than thou. So, well, he's got Club Shay Shay, right?
Yeah, he got Club Shay Shay, and his brother was just inducted into the Hall of Fame, so it kind of overshadowed that a little bit.
Sterling.
Yeah, Sterling.
Man, those two.
I know, yeah.
What a genetic hand. Those guys are monsters, both of them. Crazy.
Yeah, the craziest.
Oh, my God.
I don't understand.
Can you imagine being 16 and a half in high school, and you got Shannon Sharp and Sterling Sharp, and they're stepping out of the shower, and you're right behind them. Your weird little body, puberty hasn't kicked in yet. Like, oh my
full-grown man.
Oh my! I mean, imagine what Shannon Sharp just was like as a senior in high school.
I know.
Like, holy shit! And Sterling too. I mean, just genes upon genes. That there ain't no half brother situation going on there. That is full blood. Those dudes.
Yeah.
All right. What else?
Next up, I don't know if you remember the clothing store Barney's.
Sure.
It went out of business a while ago, but this jilted Barney alleges a family evaded $20 million in New York taxes by falsely claiming that the late mother lived in Palm Beach. I just got this story. It's just crazy. It just keeps going and going because these guys have been at it and feuding and suing each other. The family has been at odds for a good long time, but the latest thing is Bob Pressman, the 71-year-old grandson of Barney Pressman, who founded the now-defunct retail icon in 1923, alleges in this lawsuit that his family conspired by keeping Phyllis Pressman residing in the Hamptons, Southampton, New York, instead of West Palm Beach. So he's snitching out the constituency here because not getting hooked up in the her passing the inheritance.
Yeah,
It's like a heavy, it's like crazy thing to deal with.
I don't know. Maybe I should be thankful that my parents accumulated.
I was going to say, did you fight over the Tony Bennett CD, or is there any argument about that?
Well, I got the Tony Bennett CD because it was autographed to me because it was my CD, which I figured out later. So that was a push. So my sister wasn't in the running for the Tony Bennett CD.
Oh, okay.
She got a copy of a newspaper article. Sister got that. I don't know what else she got. She may have gotten a book. I should have got the trumpet, that's for sure, because that thing still got some action left in it. It was barely used, and I could probably paid $3,000 for it. Got to get at least $1,200 back for that shit.
Well, this lady died. She's worth upwards of $100 million.
Well, I didn't tell you. It also came in a bag. The bag ain't free. That's something. Someone will pay you for a bag. If they need a bag, you got a bag, they'll pay you for a bag. Don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself. And it was one of those Trader Joe ones that had the handles, the paper handle glued in. So it's not just a bag that you have to hold from the bottom. It's a, handled bag. So that's something.
The Southampton property is on the block for $38.5 million. And
that wasn't in the bag.
No.
That was not part of the bag.
And her swanky Upper East Side apartment listed at $3.95 million. It's in contract right now.
Yeah, my dad there was a house in Altadena, which is still there, and then there's my mom didn't have a house, but her mom had a house and then died and left that to her. But I had the step-parents got the stuff because they got in. My step-parents were younger than my parents, and they ended up having to do everything because my parents were my parents. So I don't begrudge them having whatever it is they had because they're essentially, if you take the job of marrying my mom, that's 40 years of you having to take care of my mom. That's not 40 years of her making you martinis and putting a bow on top of a new Cadillac she bought you. That's 40 years.
He put in the hours.
That's you taking care of my mom.
Digging ditches.
Yeah, whatever needs to be done, you're doing it. So that's that. And basically my dad, too. So I look at whatever it is they got that me and my sister didn't get is just payback for all the years of having to toil and put in the hours of taking care of those two. Now, those two couldn't stay married because how can you stay married if let's just say you're a couple.
Yeah.
And then you're both sitting on the sofa and someone goes, tomorrow morning's trash day. And the one goes, oh, okay. Why don't you take the trash out? And the other goes, I'm not taking the trash. How about you take the trash out? No, how about you do it? Well, you can't have two people who do that. One person's got to stand up and take the trash out, otherwise trash never gets taken out. Those two people should never get married because there's two people sitting there while trash piles up. They need to marry someone who will take the trash out. See what I'm saying?
What occurs to me is you seem like a do-a-lot guy. How did you get this recessive gene, some type of antithetical to two people who are lazy? Why did you come out that way?
Well,
through pure spite? You're like, I don't want to be like that?
I would do the opposite of whatever it is I thought they would do.
Yeah.
I was really, really, really into sports my whole life. And so I was always kind of running around. I was just like physically wrestling and running and blocking and riding and stuff. I was always running around. And then later on, I wasn't that motivated, but I didn't have a choice because I didn't have a job, I didn't have any money, and I had to move out of the house and stuff. So I got motivated to work hard because I didn't have another way to make money. I couldn't, get a job as the Maytag repairman where I was sitting around waiting. Deep cut reference. The Maytag repairman was always bored because he was always sitting around because the Maytags never broke down. So he was always just hanging out, staring at the phone, looking to work, but he never could. I had to dig and toil and do all that shit. So I had to work, and then later on, I had to work harder to get out of a job that I didn't want, which is, swinging a hammer all day. And then later on, I kind of figured, well, as long as you're doing a job that's pretty easy, you might as well just do as much of it as you can. So there was that. And then there was also a part, when sometimes people say, oh, why are you working so much? Why don't you slow it down? Or why don't you whatever it? I would say, well, look, I'm not a religious person. I'm not a spiritual person, but I do believe in certain gifts, having certain abilities. And people understand it musically. Mariah Carey can sing. I can't sing. And there's artists and there's things like that. And I do think I got a gift for comedy. And when you have a gift, you have to kind of go out and make hay while the sun shines. You need to write books or make documentaries or get up on stage and tell jokes. Like you're compelled by this thing that was sort of bestowed upon you to go out and do something with it, And so that's part of what motivates me. And then also, you have to understand, 0 to 30, I did nothing. I stood on a construction site or I moved boxes. You know what I mean? I mowed lawns. Like I fucking work at McDonald's. I stayed around and did nothing for 30 years. So I'm like, now that I'm doing something, I want to keep doing something.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I totally hear you.
But anyway, my sister wishes she would have got a little something. You know what I mean?
I know.
It would have been nice. And maybe she still will.
What do you...
Well, at some point, the step parents are going to go. And then you got to
playing the long game.
And there may be something after that. I'm not counting on it, but it could be, right?
Sniper in the bushes.
Listen, here's my saying. Disappointers never disappoint.
Yeah.
My sister was disappointed terribly by my dad and my mom because they did nothing for her. And then when they died, they left her 0. That's a disappointer, not disappointing. If there turned out there was some cougarons and some gold ingots that had been set aside for Lauren all those years, it would have been confusing. See what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
This is not confusing at all. This is the most consistent thing those two could have done was not leave anything to her daughter or his daughter.
Yeah.
That is the most consistent. You could set your watch on that. I could have told. Other people have to guess.
Yeah.
What's going to be left behind? You could have asked me. I would have said 0 because they're disappointers and disappointers never disappoint. By the way, there's a different version of this where it's a completely different type of person. Big sandwich maker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? High sandwich score. Where, of course, there was stuff left behind. And you'd be surprised by what they'd squirreled away to have for you or the grandkids or whatever it is. Those people are consistent as well.
Yeah. Stereotypes. Exist for a reason.
For a reason.
Well, I'm glad you spoke about sandwiches because your daily sandwich could be making you sad and anxious, health experts warn. Gluten sensitivity may trigger inflammation, affecting mood and brain function.
Yeah.
Not all breads are bad.
People ate. I don't know what to think of anything anymore. First things first, just buy good stuff. Get the good bread. Get the good stuff.
Yeah.
Just get the good stuff. It's you're worth it. Number one. Number 2, I've always been in a good mood around a sandwich.
I know, yeah.
Sandwiches are
not
good.
to be.
Sandwich is good.
I know.
I very American and very, very patriotic, and there's nothing better.
Nothing better than a sandwich that just has like juice in the bread. That it's like now it's just all one amorphous thing that turned. You know what I'm saying? It just has a little melty to it.
I like a little. If I get the Italian, I always love the shot of the olive oil and the shot of the vinegar, and it's just sopping it up. You know what's a nice one?
What's that?
I had a flashback when I was poor. There was an Armenian. Armenians have these little markets, but they're full of good stuff. Yeah. And I would just go up the hill. I'd buy like 4 rolls, long, like hoagie grinder kind of rolls. I'd buy big beefsteak tomato. I'd buy the smoked provolone, the whole thing. And I'd make myself, but I could get like 4 sandwiches out of it. Was at the end of the day, it was pretty cheap. But I just had this flashback. I would take these tomatoes, beefsteak. I'd cut these wagon wheel size faces of it. I'd put them in the plate, and then I'd put the olive oil and the vinegar and like the oregano on it, and I'd let them soak it up.
Yeah.
So then once they got good and soaked up, I'd put them on the sandwich. So it wasn't like just squirting the dressing on top of the sandwich.
Oh, man.
I want some of that.
That's a clever way to do it.
There is a sandwich in this refrigerator that I tried to eat. I don't know where. I don't even know what it was. This is the first time I've ever been confused by a sandwich, and we still don't know. It may have been a vegan sandwich. No one here will claim the half of the sandwich that was in the fridge that I tried to eat, but I was devastated. Was it a meat? It was like head cheese or something. I don't know. Anyway, you got one more?
No, that was the last one. Yeah, talking about gluten sensitivity.
Listen, everybody, here's the thing. There was a time when people just lived. They ate, they walked, they sweated, they worked out, they worked places, they raised barns, they did simple tasks, they thatched a roof, and they mended a fence, and they washed their own wagon or something. I don't know if they had wagon washes back then. But either way, they just did for themselves. Just do for yourself. Just try just staying busy, doing for yourself, eating like, Grandpa used to eat, and stop thinking about what everything does to you and what all the food
We're all
sensitivities.
experts now. That's the problem. Everybody,
is it a problem?
Anything that you want an answer to, it's in your pocket. Yeah.
During COVID, everyone became an expert on ivermectin in 4 minutes. And I'm like, what the fuck do you know about it? You've never said the word ivermectin in your life or hydroxychloroquine, and now you're an expert. Interesting. You played it real close to the vest with these two substances for all these
For
years.
your degree at night.
Yes. All right. Knock it the fuck off, everyone. Get out of your head. Eat. Exercise.